Facebook people. Hi, how are we doing today? Looky here. We're here live. Equipment's working. Yeah. Come on in and have a seat. It's not like a wedding where if you're here to see Jennifer Arundale Peckham, you have to sit on the left and you have to sit on the right. You can mix it up. It's all right. You can sit close together, take off your masks. Like I tell everybody, when it comes to me, nothing goes viral. So you're safe.
Optional. Clothing optional.
Clothing optional from the waist down for us. And you're here at Comic Spot. So that means that this show was started by an Army veteran. That's me. Yeah, gangster granny here. I don't even know how to do that. Anyway, I'm here because I believe that comics, comedians, we are essential. We need to have a voice. So the Army veteran vets out veterans of comedy, stage and screen too, like Jennifer Arundale Peckham today. She's here. She is so humble. She's letting me retape this on good equipment, so I don't have to bootleg my own video this time. She's so sweet. You're gonna love her. I love her. Let me read the intro she sent to me. I love reading other people's intros. My intro is, her recent film, oddly popular, a comedy, is winning many film festivals. She has a list of film festivals it's in and winning, you guys. She was get a load of this. Jennifer Peckham Arundale was a semi-finalist in the Gene Robertson Humor Contest. Do you know what that means? She's funny, she's clean, she's current, she's relevant, and all of that. And she was also a finalist for the Funniest Housewives. She's worked at the Improv, so she's no joke. She is something else. Welcome, Jennifer Peckham Arundale. Hey!
Thank you, Linda. Linda, let's give it up for Linda Marcus. I mean, she's the best. She's been working so hard on interviewing all these amazing people. I've caught some of the interviews. I saw your one with Sinbad. He's amazing. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for coming back. I want to get good equipment, so I spent $1,000 on this stuff, and I have a tech guy doing stuff for me, so I can't mess it up.
You spend $1,000 and take me out to dinner. You never know what'll happen, Linda.
I'm telling you. Talk to me about your early life, because you've accomplished. You're a producer, you're an actress, you're a comedian, you're in film festivals, you're winning contests and film festivals. Holy crap. Where did you start?
Well, I guess that I'm one of those people who wanted to always be an entertainer and an actor, but didn't really have the courage early on and didn't feel like there was that much support for somebody back in the 80s to do this. So kudos to those brave people that started back then. But I had a full career in the movie business on the other side of the camera. I started a film company with some people that I met, and we produced a lot of films. I executive produced about 7 movies. They're on my IMDb page if you wanted to check them out.
I did.
Yeah, one of the films was in the Toronto Film Festival. It was called I Woke Up Early the Day I Died, and it was based on Ed Wood's final screenplay, the famous Ed Wood, and it starred Billy Zane and a million other people. It was a cast of characters. It was a silent film that was all music driven. That's how Ed Wood wrote it. So that was in the Toronto Film Festival. So that was a real big accomplishment. And then we did quite a few co-productions with the UK and shot some films in the Isle of Man. We did a film called Woundings with Guy Pearce and Ray Winstone, Emily Lloyd. It had also a very big cast. So those were kind of the heyday of the filmmaking world in the late 90s. And then I became an executive recruiter of all things.
What?
I know, I was a headhunter. And then I said, if not now, when? So I started taking a couple comedy classes here locally and just got my mojo up and just started going out there and just said, what have I got to lose? So I would encourage everyone, just go out there. It might be a little scary at first, but you'd be surprised at how many friends you make along the way. So it's been really rewarding, and I miss all those people in person.
Yes, don't we though?
Yeah.
Something else.
Yeah.
So when you first transitioned from not doing stand-up comedy to
Yeah.
doing, you
Yeah.
accomplished it on the screen and behind the screen, and then you went to comedy. How
Mhm.
scared were you to try a whole different avenue?
I was really nervous, I have to say. And, um, it's one of those things that the more time you spend doing it, you really have to kind of do it every day. I was doing probably 3 or 4 open mics a week at the beginning, and a lot of them were up in LA. I spent a lot of time at Flappers. They're, really supportive for new comedians. I live in Orange County, which is south of Los Angeles. So there are some great venues down here too. The Camino Real Theater, did shows there. I was with Don Friesen and Karen Rontowski and Kira Sultanovich, and I did a show with Brian Regan and Kayvon, and lots of really good people down here. So that's been really rewarding. And now I'm doing lots of virtual Zoom shows. I I should be coming out in comedy. What's it called? Quarantine comedy show that has a weekly show that's on YouTube. That's
Wow.
really fun. So I'm keeping myself busy. And
Yes.
I was nervous, and I still get nervous, but the more prepared you are, the better, and the more stage time. It really is just about that. You just have to keep going up there, and sometimes you're good, and sometimes you're not so good.
Yes. I'm a huge fan of Jean Robertson comedy,
Yeah.
and you were a semi-finalist in
Yeah.
her contest.
The national
What?
contest. Yeah.
Yes. I want to hear about that. What's
Um,
that experience like?
well, I did some classes with Judy Carter, and she had Jeannie Robertson on one of her classes in a virtual class an online class. And I found out that she had a contest, and I submitted, I think, a tape from a show at the Improv. And yeah, I made it to the semifinals. So that was pretty exciting because there were a lot of people. I think like over 1,500 entries at least. Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
that was that was a good reward. It kind of helps validate, like, okay, I'm doing something right.
Oh, I'll say that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Hmm.
So now you've got this film in film festivals. Do you want to take the opportunity to talk about it so
Oh
that
yeah.
people can be on board with how successful I mean, this people get on different shows and talk about things, and you have something here that's just blowing up big time. So I
Oh,
want you to take
yeah.
time with this.
Oh, sure. It's a really great concept. It was actually written by another comedian, Carissa Gallo, and it's a bit of a send up from the Real Housewives of Orange County and Beverly Hills. So it has a cast that's the Real Housewives, and then sort of the, let's just, for lack of a better word, sort of the socially awkward people that work behind the scenes for these same housewives.
Mhm.
And they end up becoming more popular than the actual housewives. People want to see a show about these 4 ladies who are kind of, klutzy and not that pretty and just a little bit socially awkward. So that's kind of the main story. And um, I play the high powered CEO wife of one of the employers. So it's not a huge part, but it's pivotal, and I'll be recurring as it goes forward in production. So it's super
Wonderful.
sweet. And it has Kristen Lundberg, who is another great comedian. You probably have heard of her. She is an ice sculptress and also a violinist and very funny. You should have her on your show. It also
Yes,
has
please.
Jessica Wellington, who's huge. She's a big star at the Comedy Store. So we kind of cast it with quite a few comedians as well as some other actors. Dee Dee Sorvino's in it, and it was directed by Fred Gallo. So we're in a ton of film festivals across, actually, nationally and internationally. We're in the South of France Film Festival, which I like to call the Cannes Festival Light. And then we won the Indie Pilot Festival. We're in, a number of ones on the East Coast, the Big Apple Film Festival, Jersey Shore, Southwest Regional. We were also a finalist in the Fade In Awards, which is a local LA-based mostly it's for writers that they give awards to the ones they think are the best, well written. So,
Wow.
yeah.
How incredible is that?
Yeah, it's very exciting. We were really hoping, of course, to go traveling to all the festivals and do the circuit. Some of them have been postponed as far as the screenings go till next year. So there might be some opportunities to go and be with the other filmmakers, which would be great. But it's okay.
Have you been to other film festivals, Jennifer?
Oh yeah, when I was in the producing those movies, we went to the Cannes Film Festival every year. So yeah, I walked the
Jennifer.
closet, walked the red carpet up to the Palais, and saw lots of openings of lots of big films, lots of stars. It was pretty fun.
Wow.
So
What congratulations on all your accomplishments. What's
thank
it
you.
like to walk the red carpet?
Well, depending on how far you have to walk, you realize that your shoes are too high. Like, ouch, why did I pick these shoes? And that the paparazzi, I'm not a star, so they weren't that interested in me. But, Penelope Cruz right behind you, you can see the difference.
Yeah.
Someday, Linda. But it's
Yes.
very exciting, and everyone's all dressed up and very fancy, and it was nice. I mean, I went back when uh, Elizabeth Taylor had a lot of AIDS benefits dinners and such. So it was, the late 80s. No, was it the 90s? The 90s when there was a lot of people that are no longer with us were still hanging out there. And some of the ones that were hanging out there are in jail.
Yes.
Harvey Weinstein.
Yes. There's
Yeah.
some really crazy stuff happening with all that lately.
Yes. Oh
Yeah.
gosh, that's going to be scary. Yeah, I guess they're going to be releasing a lot of the papers from the Epstein case.
Yes.
But
Absolutely. So, who are some of the celebrities that you've run across and gotten to brush elbows with? And do you have any good stories of
oh,
people?
I have a funny story. Ed Lamato, who was a big agent, used to have a pre-Oscar party every year, and somehow we got in. And every star you can think of was there. Mel Gibson, Farrah Fawcett was there. Um, Kelly, wait, John Travolta's wife, Kelly Preston, bless her
Yes.
heart. I
Yes.
met her. But the funny story was, I was so nervous. They had this lavish buffet, and I was standing right next to Mel Gibson, and I couldn't even form a sentence. It was so embarrassing. It's like, nice shrimp, you know, ridiculous. So that was exciting. And I mean, I can't even remember. There were so many stars there. It was just like mind blowing because that was like the it party every year it was. I think Ed Lamato has also passed away. So
Aw.
I know a lot of dead people.
Yes. Boy, I'll tell you, every
But
year.
yeah.
So, what's in the works for you because of the pandemic that wouldn't have had other than Zoom shows? What projects are you working on that you had time for that you wouldn't have otherwise?
Well, I've been busy writing a lot of comedy, kind of based on this current situation. So I have a few, like most comedians, I have some coronavirus jokes. I like to talk about how I was trying to be a really good role model for my kids, and at the beginning of the pandemic, I served healthy meals and green drinks. Now I serve top ramen and White Claw. So that's what I've been doing. I've been doing a lot of writing, and honestly, I have been doing a lot of self-tape auditions for various projects. There's a lot of, everyone has to be creative, so there's a lot of Zoom Zoom produced content, especially for web series and things. So I've been doing a lot of that. Oh no, I don't know where the time goes. I'm busy doing something. I do have, two kids. My daughter's going off to college in August, we hope. So been busy trying to get her ready for that. And my other daughter is also hoping to go back to school. It's just very sad, really,
Yeah.
for the senior. My girls are going to be a senior in high school and a freshman in college, and they've been hit hard. Those kids, everything has pretty much been taken out of their wheelhouse. Their proms, their graduations, everything. So we've been trying to make up for it with like little special things. So yeah.
Absolutely. That's great. I applaud you for that, for being sensitive to, it's a hard time to go through
Yeah.
being young and then having some of those landmark things plugged from underneath you.
I know I've shed quite a few tears, but you know, you just have to keep going. I honestly, my kids seem better at adapting to it than I do because I just know what they're missing and they don't really know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah.
So, as a comedian, as an artist, we see things from a unique point of view, that we see the funny sometimes before we see the serious.
Mm-hmm.
So, like we're going through the very first pandemic,
Mm.
and it would, children didn't even come with a manual, let alone a pandemic. So, what do you have to say to people? Like, how can we hang in there? We're all in this together, and none of us know how to hang in on this. So, what would you like to say to people, how to keep hanging in there indefinitely without bleach for however long?
Well, honestly, from everything you see on Facebook, I think, it's important that people remain kind and non-judgmental towards how other people feel. There's just too much like fighting and, my motto is, you do you and I'll do me. And I try not to engage in too much banter about what people should be doing. I think people should be wearing masks, but I also think that you have to live your life. And if you can do so and do small things with an intimate group of friends that you've pretty much all been hanging out with, then you should do that. And people should find joy in other parts of their lives. I guess it's a great time for creative expression and maybe to do some things that you've been putting off. And that's kind of how I feel about it. You can't, you have to be careful, but you have to still do stuff.
Yes,
Because to your point, this could go on and on and on.
could.
And I think people's mental health depends on having, outdoor activities and things to do. And comedy
Absolutely.
is one of them. So, there's an abundance of all the comedy clubs are having virtual shows and they definitely need the audience. And, definitely humor is a good release, both to perform and to watch. I did a show with on Flappers Celebrity Drop In on Monday, and I was pretty pleased. I think they had like not huge, but there were at least 15 people in the audience, which that's pretty good.
That's really good for
Yeah,
Zoom.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but that's kind of the way I live life. You should be nice to one another and help out where you can if you have the resources to, you know, volunteer or donate. That kind of makes you feel better in a situation that we have no control of. I think that's what really drives the uncertainties because we can't really control it except to, be mindful, wear masks, socially distance, and, stay away from big crowds.
Yes.
You're not going to find me at a bar, even if they're open. I'm not going. But I will go to a picnic outside in my lawn chair.
There you go.
There you go. BYOB.
I've been to two shows inside of bars,
Oh,
and both times, uh, I worried for 2 weeks afterward,
I can
and
imagine.
and so I think I'm done chancing it.
Yeah, I
You
wouldn't
know,
do a bar show. But they're also doing some creative outdoor shows. There's a drive up comedy show in Burbank, I think, that someone's put together. You get a number and you stay in your car until it's your turn. So people are really being creative.
yes,
And
that's a nice way to try. And the
yeah,
Zoom shows. How have you felt about doing comedy on Zoom? There's a wide chasm between the two opinions out there.
yeah,
Those
I actually love them. I think that they're more intimate. It's good for my comedy because I can tend to be a little um, for lack of a better word, presentational when you're up on a stage. And this way, your people are right here. You can really talk to them. So for me, it's actually really good. It's good training to just be more relating to the people that are, even if they're little pictures on my screen, I feel like they're super close.
Yes.
Yeah, so I like them, and I'm doing a lot of online classes, and I think online Zoom and acting, and I did a groundling course online.
Wow.
It's completely different, but definitely there's a value in it. I think.
Yes. I love Zoom comedy. I find it well, and as an actress and having worked behind the camera, you're
Hmm.
probably really used to being in the frame or knowing about the frame, and the frame doesn't spook you like
No.
this little frame here. Where as comedian, it's all about the stage and the audience, and now like you're used to this, right?
Um, like I said, keeps me still.
Mhm.
I think a lot of comedians could do without the pacing on a stage and all of that, So I think it's really good to ground yourself. And I don't know whether it's because I'm used to it from having been behind the camera, or you're just forced into sitting right down in your chair. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But
uh,
it's a lot of fun. I'm getting to meet people and from all over the world and do comedy in South Africa without leaving my house. I'm just like, wow.
I know. How many people have you interviewed now, Linda? Like over 200, maybe more?
430.
Oh my gosh. I
And
hope
that's
you.
not counting the 39 I interviewed at Harvey's in Portland before the pandemic. So yeah, I'm having some. I love interviewing. I love checking up on people. I love drawing information out. I love being in the moment with people and getting your vibe and bouncing on, riffing with you. This is heaven for me.
Well, you're so easy to talk to. So good for
Thank
you for
you.
doing this. Yeah. It's been really
Thank
fun
you.
to see all the great people that you've had on.
Thank you. I never want to stop.
Well, there's no end to the long lines of comedians, aren't is there?
Yeah, every city has at least 500. If
For
they're
sure.
if they
Yeah.
don't, they should just fold up their streets if they don't have 500 comedians because we're essential.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you so much for coming on. Can I ask you where can we where do you want traffic? Do you have a Facebook fan page?
I have my own fan page, but I haven't really promoted it out. But they can just follow me on Instagram at Jennifer Arundale, and Twitter, Jen Arundale. I do a little bit of work on there now, but not as much as I should. I've been threatening to do more content myself. It takes a lot to do all of it, Linda. Everything takes so much longer than you think. I'm
Isn't
always
that true?
I admire all those people that are putting like little videos of themselves on Instagram all the time. I'm like, they're so brave and be creative, and I'm working up to it. I'm a slow
Yeah.
starter.
There's some funny videos and TikTok and all those places are you can go there
So
and just
good.
be it's like
Yeah.
crazy. So thank you so much for coming on. I'll
Thank
post this
you.
in a couple days. The real sitcom like version will come out and I'll send it to you by private messenger and it'll look really cool. You'll love it.
Okay, that's great, Linda. Well, thank you so much for having me, and I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you. And if our Facebook people out there, thank you for watching. And stay
Yes,
tuned
thanks
to
for
Linda
coming
Morgan.
on, you guys. What's that?
And stay tuned to watch all of Linda's shows. They're
Thank
interviews.
you.
They're great.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your coming on and I applaud you for all your hard work as an actress, producer, and a comedian. You're
Oh,
just
thank
a
you.
bright spot in a dark world.
Oh, thanks, Linda. You too. Take care now.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Everybody's talking at the comic spot, the comic spot.